Homunculus, how to conjure your own magical servant. If you've taken brain and behavioral studies or psychology coursework, you might be familiar with the cortical homunculus. These illustrations depicting strangely disordered renderings of the human body were developed based on the neurological map of the areas and portions of the human brain dedicated to processing sensory homunculus, and motor functions, motor homunculus, or for different parts of the body. The distortions are deliberate and based on how much of the brain's cerebral cortex is devoted to its function and operation, the idea being to depict the human body in terms of its importance. But the idea of a homunculus did not stem from a weird visual memory device to help students remember brain functions. The homunculus dates back to the 16th century alchemy. Homunculus among us. Homunculus translates to little person in Latin, and historically they were representations of tiny humans first depicted as small clay statues. Homunculi and the creation of a miniature yet fully formed human can be traced back to the concept of preformationism. Preformationism, also known as preformism, is a former historical theory that all organisms develop from miniature versions of themselves. Performationists believe that the form of living things exists before their development, and that each generation grows from tiny humans or animals, homunculus or animalculus, and that they've been around since the beginning of creation. The opposite of performationism is epigenesis, which is the idea that each organism is gradually produced from an undifferentiated mass by a new series of steps and stages during which new parts are added. Epigenesis can be simplified down to the idea of mitosis and cell division that we associate with how babies are developed. At the same time, performationism is the idea that in each sperm there is a tiny fully formed human, and this would be the homunculus. There is much debate about when the concept of the homunculus first came into being, but many historians cite its use to Paracelsus and his De Natura Rerum, published in 1537. In the work, Paracelsus describes his process for creating a homunculi as follows: that the sperm of a man be putrefied by itself in a sealed cucurbit glass container for 40 days with the highest degree of putrefaction in venter equitis. This means warm fermented horse poop, because why not at this point? This is ridiculous. Could you imagine the stink? You would faint just by half a whiff of this, or at least so long as that comes to life and moves itself and stirs, which is easily observable. After this time it will look something like a man, but transparent without a body. If after this it be fed wisely with the arcanum of human blood, and be nourished for up to 40 weeks, and kept in the even heat of a horse's womb, the living human child grows therefore, and all its members like another child. This is ridiculous. Which is born of a woman, but much smaller. This we call a homunculus, and it should be afterwards educated with the greatest care and zeal until it grows up and begins to display intelligence. What? Yes, they actually believed in this in 1537. Another recipe for creating a homunculus comes from Islamic alchemy and a goal to develop a taqwin, or an artificially created living human creature. All one needed to do was obtain a vessel that was shaped like an animal that was desired to be made, and combine the animal's bodily fluids with it, then place the vessel in the center of a model of a celestial sphere as heat is applied to it. In other words, why not just cook it away? The folkloric traditions. The homunculus is often compared to the idea of a golem from Jewish folklore. A golem is an animated anthropomorphic being that was created from clay or mud. The Jewish golem is a being of protection, strength, hope, and more. And one of the most well-known stories of the golem is the Golem of Prague and Judah Lo ben Bezalel from the 16th century. The homunculus may have also been inspired by the German folk tradition of the mandragora, the mandrake. Author Jean-Baptiste Pitois compared the creation of the mandragora to that of homunculus, and he wrote, "Would you like to make a mandragora as powerful as the homunculus so praised by Paracelsus?" The guy that says, put the fermented male sperm in the poop of a horse. "Now, then find a root of the plant called bryony, take it out of the ground on a Monday, the day of the moon, and a little time after the vernal equinox, cut off the heads of the root and the roots and bury it at night in some country churchyard in a dead man's grave." So gory and ridiculous. I mean, what can you say? "For 30 days, water it with cow's milk, in which 3 bats have been drowned." This is ridiculous. "When the 31st day arrives, take out the root in the middle of the night and dry it in an oven heated with branches of verbera, then wrap it in a piece of a dead man's winding sweat," that's burial shroud, "and carry it with you everywhere." Oh my goodness. Alchemists believed that the homunculus was capable of being used in different ways. Some abilities attributed to these homunculi included things like being able to control the moon and make a full moon appear on the last day of the month. And it can allow a person to walk on water and let a person shapeshift into a cow, sheep, or large ape. Why would a person want to shapeshift into an animal? Now, the homunculus can grant its creator the ability to know things that are occurring far away, see and communicate with spirits and demons, summon rain during non-rainy seasons, and even produce extremely poisonous snakes, quote unquote. A fully grown homunculus, a very tiny adult human, was also rumored to be a skillful artist who was able to create dwarves, giants, and other marvels. Depending on the culture, text, and author whose work you are reading, the homunculus was capable of magic or could be created to act as a servant in some cases. Some homunculi were simply bonded slaves to assist the alchemist with no magical properties at all. Good or evil? The homunculus was seen as a powerful but somewhat limited creation. In some works, the homunculus could only thrive within a glass vessel and needed to be fed a specific type of blood only alchemists could obtain. If removed from the vessel, the homunculus could live only but for a short period of time. While they were believed to be able to do various things, the homunculus does not appear to be used as a weapon, a way to kill or cause suffering, or do much else besides protect or act as a servant. The homunculus itself was neither good nor evil, but the creator of this little person who controlled it was one capable of good or evil. Such creatures could be counted on only to follow the will of their master. What can I tell you? This is what they believed in the 15th, 16th centuries. And this is on Historic Mysteries by Lauren Dillon. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.